What's up guys, we are back for another video, and today I am going to be showing you how to install VLAND headlights on an FRS, a GT86, or a BRZ. Keep watching. Alright, so what I have here are some VLAND headlights. Now some of you may have seen recently my Spec-D headlight installation and might be asking why I'm switching. Well, let me answer that for you right now. These headlights, you'll get a better view once I take this plastic wrap off. I'm going to leave it on for now, but they just look more OEM. Like, I like the all black look, but not really on a black car. I have the jet black Spec-Ds, and I just don't like the whole blacked out look on a black car. And this gives you the black headlight, but it has this offset of the, you know, the LED strip here is actually like a clear, like a white almost, and it just looks better. Plus you got the sequential turn signal, and I'm just a really picky person, so I'm jumping on the VLAN bandwagon and we're about to get started. So they ship these out so that you can install them in an FRS, GT86, or a BRZ, any model, any year. They give you adapters for all of them. So I'm going to go through the adapters. First, we have this 4-pin adapter. If you're 4-pin, you're probably BRZ. You have to figure out whether you're going to use the headlight as it comes or you're going to use this adapter. This says 2013 to 2016 on it, so I believe you have to use this if you're 2013 to 2016 BRZ. One way to tell which one you need to use is you can look where the DRL is fed through. If you have, these headlights have the leveling system that BRZs have. If your DRL runs through the leveling system, like I believe it does on the newer ones, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, you'll see that's how the DRL gets fed to this headlight. If you have an earlier model BRZ, then your DRL gets fed through the 4-pin right here. So you're gonna plug this in right here. I don't know if you can see, and then you're gonna unplug. You're gonna like take this, unplug these, leave this side of the plug sitting, and then this side of the plug is gonna plug into this adapter, and you'll be good to go. If you have an FRS like me, then you're gonna be using this 6-pin adapter here. This is gonna be a little bit more complicated because you just got your regular headlight stuff plugging in here, and then you have to manually wire a ground, a turn signal, and a DRL, which I'm gonna be showing you how to do. This is gonna be the more complicated thing. But the first thing that we're gonna do is we're actually going to install H.I.D bulbs into this. So the bulbs that it comes with are H7 bulbs. I do not have an H7 H.I.D kit, but I did find that the stock FRS H.I.D kit does bolt in. I do know for a fact that D2S bulbs work as well, because that's what my buddy used. I think he had to shave some of the plastic, but those work fine as well. So H7, H11, D2S, those do work. I think the stock BRZ are D4S. I do not know if you can make those work. So if you were able to make those HIDs work in these headlights, leave a comment below and let me know, and let everyone else know as well. So the cool thing about these headlights is they have this seal in the back of this plastic cap right here, which if you've used HIDs in the past, you'll recognize this. If you're using the halogen bulbs, leave this in, put the bulb in, and you're done. If you're using HIDs, you want to pop this seal out, and your HID bulb is going to have the same seal on it already. So you just need to put the bulb in and put this side in. I'm actually cutting this connector off because H11 bulbs use, gosh, it's hard to show you all this stuff. H11 bulbs use 2 females, you can kind of see them there. So I'm going to be putting those on my current HID bulb. So these are a pretty universal fit. This green thing comes off and it clamps the bulb in there, and you can fit almost any bulb in there. So that's pretty cool. So we're gonna start off just by installing that bulb on both headlights. One thing that you wanna make sure when you're installing the bulb, if you have these HIDs, I believe in the factory headlights, these filaments pointed straight down. So I'm gonna install them the same way. But first, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this connector off and splice. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this connector off and splice 2 male spades onto here. All right, so here we go. If you're doing this, make sure you cut off this end on the same side as the bulb, not this end, because this is the one that has to go into the ballast. So we're gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna give myself a little bit left on them in case I ever need to use them again. Keep in mind that if you buy H7 bulbs, you do not have to do this. So if you're not really into wiring, then make sure you buy H7 bulbs. However, if you're doing this on an FRS, you kind of need to know wiring regardless. So. All right, so now we got the spade connectors crimped on there. So what you want to do is make sure that you plug the red one into the green side. This is basically if you have the correct H.I.D bulbs at this point. Now you're going to follow along. You're going to plug the red one right here into the green side, and the black one is going to go into the black side. Now we're going to go ahead and install the bulb. It's got this weird green clip. To install the bulb, put the bulb in, and then you can separate the clip, put it around the outside of the bulb, and clip it back together. Alright, so once you get the bulb in, the next thing that you want to do is put this cap back on. So what you got to do is make sure that you feed all the wires through it. So you want to feed this big wire through it first. It's going to be a super tight fit, but it will fit through. And then you want to feed through these smaller wires. Those should go through no problem. And then you want to seal this by putting the rubber thing in where the original one was. So now that rubber piece is in there, you can pull some of these through a little bit to get rid of some of the slack inside of the bulb, or inside of the headlight. And we should be able to close this up. And that's all there is to it. Then you got your headlight ready to go. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other one, which I am not going to show you guys. And if you have an FRS like me, what you're going to do is unplug this wire right here from the adapter right here going into the light. So you're going to have just these by themselves, and this is going to be completely unused because this is the leveling system for the BRZ. We are not going to use this. You will use this gear right here to adjust your headlight, like the actual height of it, but we will not be using these plugs. Over here we have the 4-pin plugged in to this 6-pin adapter, and then we have the white wire connected right here. And that's it. So now you have this that plugs into your car, and then these 3 wires which you have to wire, which I will show you how to do. Alright, so now that we got the headlights ready to go, we're ready to start taking this bumper off. These are the Spec-D headlights if you haven't seen them. They're the jet black ones, so they're smoked, I believe. But that's what they look like this is what they look like when they're off, obviously. Super snowy outside, super crappy out, so there's water all over the garage. Luckily, I'm not working under the car. We're just doing the headlights. So, well, I'm working under it a little bit, but we just have to undo these clips down here. All along there, there's just a handful of clips, and then there's 3 in each wheel well right there. And then normally for you guys, you'll have a clip behind here to pull these out. Mine are glued in because the collision shop that took care of this last time glued them in. But I'll pull those out, and then there's one more clip up in the fender. So all that, and then you just have to undo all of these right here along the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of all that and get this bumper taken off. Once you get all those clips off, it just pulls out from right here. There's like 3 clips in here, but if you just pull on the bumper, they will undo.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces.
Alright, so now that the bumper's off, this is what we have here. So I just need to go ahead and pull these headlights out. The way that you get these headlights out is you have a bolt right here, and then you have one of those little Christmas tree clip things right here. These are a pain to get out. Just use a flathead screwdriver and maybe an interior removal tool if you have one. So you have those 2 bolts, and then you also have this frame around the headlights. So you have 1 bolt here. You got 1 underneath here. Can't really see it, but it's there. And then you have 2 on this side over here. So one right there and one right there. This frame will come out and the headlight will come out. So we're gonna go ahead and take both of those out right now.
Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us.
Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is on these black wires, we want to put ring terminals like this. So that way we can ground, because the black wire is the ground. Alright, so these are all 18 gauge. So you just got to strip a little bit of the end of the wire off here. And then crimp this ring terminal onto the end of the black wire. Alright, so that's good. Now that's on there. Now I'm going to crimp a male spade connector onto here because this is going to go to my turn signal, which I already have wired. If you are doing this install, you're going to want to use one of these little quick connectors. You can get them at any auto parts store. It allows you to splice into another wire. And then the yellow wire goes into this red wire on your turn signal. So mine's already connected and I have a little female connector on here from my Spec-D headlights, so I'm just going to put a male end on the yellow wire over here so that way I can plug these in. Alright, so now on this one, since I'm doing like a homemade insulated connector, I'm going to slide these two heat shrinks down here. I can strip this wire, put this connector on there. Put that down. Where's my lighter? Now we can heat shrink around the bottom part of the connector, and then I have a bigger piece of heat shrink that fits over the top part of the connector a little bit. Are you surprised they're not spun too low?
I'm just so, all I cared about was a clean chassis. I like drove that into the D2S. Yeah, he's like lying about this weird shit. I'm like, dude.
Stuff that he didn't have to lie about. You were already gonna buy the car.
Yeah. No rush. You good to go, man. Clean chassis for you.
Alright, so now we have that connector and we can plug it in to the other connector down there. We're gonna run this, just make sure this is accessible. This white wire is gonna go down through the bumper right here and connect to the other headlight. So we can go ahead and bolt this headlight in now. And I'm also going to repeat that process on the other headlight. So next you'll see both headlights will be in. So one thing that I want to mention is this, where a good place to ground this is there is a bolt that goes right down here and it's nice and out of the way. I have the bolt out right now, and that is where I ground this black wire. So I'm gonna do that. There's one of these on both sides and it's a perfect place to ground your headlights.
Focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I've been stuck on.
Alright, so I'm wiring up the DRLs right now. What we have is, this was the wire from this headlight. I had to extend it, and then I just have a wire long enough to go all the way to the fuse box here. And then this headlight is going to splice into it, which I will show you how to do. But yeah, you do need to kind of cut yourself a wire like that. And then what I'm going to put on the end of it, a lot of people just jam the wire into here, but I don't like that. I want to actually plug into the fuse box. So I got one of these. This is a ATM-LP. We'll add a circuit thing. So this is just going to crimp right here to this white wire. And then this will be able to plug into our fuse box. Now, this is going to plug in right here where there's no fuse, right next to this green one. And we only have to put a fuse in this top port right here. I'm going to use a 7.5 amp fuse. And it's going to go in the top port here. This bottom one is going to be left blank.
But it's not like I need it, and we may have some history, but we don't have to.
Alright, so now we got this white wire wired up to the fuse box. What we need to do is connect the headlight to this white wire, and how we're going to do that is using one of these little things. So the way that this works is there's one side that the wire can go through, towards the outside, and then there's one wire where the wire can only go through partially, and then you just squeeze this down and it goes in between both wires and splices them. That goes on there like that, and then this wire gets fed in here, and then you just take a pair of pliers and you clamp that down. And then you just fold this over top like that. And there you have it. Now you have your DRLs wired up. Alright, so now that everything's hooked up, we're just going to go ahead and do a little light test. Well, I forgot to plug the ballasts in, but they only have 2 plugs on the back of them here. And they both go to the bulbs that are sticking out of the headlights. You got one that goes right there, and these 2 plugs that go into the other end of it, and then your ballast just sits in your engine bay. Zip tied wherever you want it to be.
You made this mess and left me with the...
Alright, now we can do the light test.
Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my...
Alright, now I just gotta bolt it back up.
I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
Alright, ignore the bird poop all over the hood, but these things look sweet. It's so much better because the lens isn't tinted, so this actually matches this, so now I don't feel like I gotta get smoked turn signals anymore because I like the stock ones. And it just looks like a way better quality light over the Spec-D. I'll go ahead and turn them on one more time, back the car up. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but you may have noticed that the intro of this video, the blinkers are a lot slower than in this part of the video, and that is because I installed an adjustable flasher relay. I just think that it looks a little bit better if you can slow down the speed of the turn signal. Now these headlights don't need it. They don't give you like hyper flash or anything like that, but I just think that the sequential turn signal looks a little bit better with that adjustable flasher. So I'm going to link not only the headlights in the description, but also a link to that flasher if you want it. And then I'm also going to put a link to somebody else's video that shows you how to install it since I didn't do so. All right, let's get back to the rest of the video. All right, there they are again in all their glory. They look awesome. Alright guys, well that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you all for watching. If you want to know where to get these lights, I'm going to put a link in the description. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you liked the content or if it was helpful in any way. And thanks again for watching. Peace out.